Welcome into Week in Geek. It's February 9th. That's when I'm recording this. My voice, a little sick, so bear with me here. We have Corono Comics returning for the third time.
Hey,
We did the Penguin One Bad Day comic review. We did Fail Safe Batman comic review and a bunch of stuff. So y'all know Kevin. How are you, sir?
good. I'm glad to be back.
Hell yeah. So it's Kevin and I and Andy, of course. Andy, what's up?
What's up, guys? How we doing? Do we have a good weekend? Are we happy with Superbowl results?
Yeah.
I'm glad Sam Darnold got a ring. I think he deserved the ring.
I am happy for Sam Darnold. But that's about
as far
it.
as I'll go.
Trailers, that was one of the worst Super Bowls for trailers in a long time.
Yes. Yeah. Shocking. It was actually shocking.
Yeah.
Was it just two trailers? Was it the Ryan Gosling movie and the Star Wars movie?
And we also will Star Wars barely a trailer. We got Disclosure Day and Supergirl.
I didn't see all that.
Minions, Scream 7.
Oh yeah, Scream 7. But we'll get into all that. We are at there you go. We are at whysosidious pod. Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, X. Kevin, remind the followers where they can find you. You're on TikTok and YouTube, I know. Where else?
I haven't been on TikTok very much, but if you want to follow me on there, it's Corono Comics, and on YouTube, where I've been putting most of my focus on is Minor League Films. That's my movie review podcast.
And that's on TikTok?
That is on YouTube.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll have to subscribe then. I just have your personal.
What films do you review over there?
Everything. I'd rather watch horror than anything, but everything that comes out during the week, like if it's 4 that come out, I'll do 3 of them.
Nice.
And then if it's a current show, I'll do like 4 or 5 shows a week. I have a partner with me, so it makes it easier. So he's able to watch some stuff that I can mix.
Nice.
I think when my kids are at the age where at least my oldest can babysit the other kids, whysosidious will review a lot more movies. We just don't go to the theaters. I mean, me and my wife anyway, it's hard to do that. But I'm one of those, I would want to see a movie like every week, review a movie every week, see what's really getting out there. So stay tuned in a decade for that. But otherwise, this is Week in Geek, where we cover nerd news, Marvel, Star Wars, DC, and beyond, of course. And we'll get into the Super Bowl trailers, but let's start with Star Wars, just because there was an interesting thing that Star Wars dropped recently, where they apparently confirmed that creature at the end of the Acolyte was Plagueis. And just for context, I wasn't a huge fan of the Acolyte. I don't really care what that creature was at the end of the Acolyte, although I do love the Darth Plagueis book by James Luceno, I believe, and I would love if Plagueis was implemented into Star Wars on the big screen. But Andy, how do you feel about this?
Well, I feel like since it's been like over a year now since the Acolyte finished, that they're just, because they're bringing out like the books and artwork and stuff from it, they're just making crap up to make it try and seem cooler than it was. Like, don't get me wrong, obviously some parts of the Acolyte, mostly to do with the Stranger, were cool, and there was some, we're not going to deny it, some terrible bits of the Acolyte as well. But it just seems that now it's done and dusted, and it's all settled, that they're just trying to make it now in post-series seem cooler than it was, and coming out and going, oh yeah, we had 2 or 3 more series planned and Plagueis was going to be the big bad. It's like, first of all, if that was the case, that you had 2 or 3 more seasons planned, yes, I would have expected Plagueis to come in and play a role at some point. You don't just show him in the shadows like in that picture there and then not follow up on that. But second of all, don't drop Plagueis' name just to make yourselves look cooler after the fact. That's all it feels like to me. Like saying that that the Stranger Khmer was going to be the founder of the Knights of Ren. Like, don't come at me with that crap. I just don't believe it. I just don't believe that you intended to do that, because you could say anything now that the series is over. You could make up anything and go, this is what we intended to do, and we have to kind of take them at their word. But I kind of don't, unfortunately. So Plagueis is a big one. We do need him in, like, we do need something of Plagueis in live action moving forward. Whether you make up a new show where it's him and obviously Palpatine is the apprentice and it's like the follow-up to the Acolyte, fine, you can do that. But I would have expected him to have played a role anyway. They don't have to come at us with all this.
It's like, put your movie where your mouth is. Don't social media post this stuff. Show us on screen. Yeah, it is what it is. Kevin, how do you feel about it? And sorry to interrupt, but how do you feel about the Acolyte in general also?
I thought the Acolyte was very average. It had like, I think maybe the 3rd episode and the episode before last were useless episodes. They could have probably combined them into one. It was a whole backstory thing. They did the backstory twice for the whole and with the twins. I thought that was silly. I liked the lightsaber combat. I thought the lightsaber combat was really good. I liked the villain. What's his name? Khamir. Khamir. I liked him a lot, and I liked most of the Jedi around him. I just thought the story got silly quite a few times in there. So at that point, I was just watching it because it was Star Wars. I liked it better than Skeleton Crew.
Fair.
So
I respected Skeleton Crew's story more, but I technically would like it more than Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, but
and just like you said, because Khamir was a good villain, and some of that combat was awesome. Like episode 4 by itself was an amazing episode of Star Wars, just because it was like this dark forest full of lightsaber colors and great combat. That was cool.
Yeah, but him, when they showed him, I wasn't even excited because I was just like, this is never going to get another season, anything else. And I'm like, why, if you're going to show him, don't show him walking out of a cave barely with half his face shown. Show him doing something cool pose, something like that. When I saw that, I was like, I just forgot all about it.
Mm-hmm. See, Palpatine for me is the only reason I would want to stick in the, I guess, Skywalker / Palpatine era. That's your one little ace up your sleeve in that era. If you do stay and do another project in that era, Plagueis is your guy. He would make a great trilogy villain, prequel to the prequels. I'd still be down for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, with that, let's move on to the Super Bowl trailers and keeping it with Star Wars. The Mandalorian and Grogu kind of dropped a trailer. What was it, a Bud Light ad?
Yeah, literally.
I don't know how. I mean, that didn't, obviously it didn't do anything for anybody, but it's like, I don't know. Why do they spend all that money just to do that? I don't know. Andy, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, when I heard there was a new trailer, I was like gassed to get online and watch it, and then this is what you get given. And it's brought up a lot of interesting points from people now as to how the tone of this film is going to be, and the fact that is this ending up just being a film that's based on like the vibes between these two and like being more of a story for the casual viewer, to get the casual viewer back in the cinema to watch Star Wars since it's been so long since we've had a film, or is it genuinely going to move the story of the Mandoverse era forward? In which case, you know, it's not maybe going to be there for the casual viewer because you need to have seen a decent chunk of the Mandalorian to get what's going on. So it has started to raise some questions now. I think we need, like, I know we're 3 months away now from the film being released, so I think we do need another proper trailer dropping. This, while it's tongue in cheek, they wasted a bunch of money on it and it's not done anything. If anything, it's raised a few more questions, I feel. And Star Wars doesn't really need that right now with the lack of moving forward with the films that they previously announced, things being put on hold. So they need this one to hit massively, and to do that, I think you need to bring it's a hard one because Grogu's he's cute, he's cuddly, he's going to bring in casual viewers. Like the relationship between Mando and Grogu is going to do that. At the same point, you need your hardcore fans to come in and watch this several times, and to do that, you need a good story. It can't just be a glorified fluffy episode of the Mandalorian. It needs to be a good story that pushes the Mandoverse era forward towards this whole Thrawn endgame scenario. And if it doesn't do that, I'm going to be a bit disappointed. And so, yeah, what was this? This, yeah, like you said, it was an advert. It wasn't a trailer. They just wasted $7 million on a 30-second advert.
Kind of a missed opportunity to actually hype this movie up because it doesn't have a lot of hype. I don't think. Kevin, do you think that this movie is going to feel like a glorified episode of Mandalorian?
I hope not, but I don't know what direction they will go into. Like, I feel like Star Wars franchise has a huge problem moving forward from Skywalker stuff. They always seem to harken back to Skywalker stuff. So I would really hope that they can move it forward and go towards, like you said, the Thrawn trilogy, or give us another enemy other than the Empire. It's always got to be the Empire against the rebels eventually. I'm kind of tired of seeing that. So I'm hoping they move towards Thrawn, even though Thrawn is Empire-ish. Move towards something. I like you said, I don't want to see something that I could have just watched in the show for 3 other seasons.
Yeah, and Thrawn would be a very unique kind of aspect of the Empire that would still feel fresh, I think. You know, something I'm worried about there is how Luke came to save them in the end of season 2 Mandalorian. So did that not write them into a hole where, like, why wouldn't Luke show up at the end of this movie? Why wouldn't he be a main character in the Thrawn movie? Like, that's kind of you're kind of on thin ice there, aren't you now?
I think they did because I'm trying to figure out. I know they had the Ray movie they were thinking about coming out with, and the Search for Ben Solo movie, but are they even doing that anymore? Like like I said, are they going to move forward at all, or are they just going to say those movies didn't happen, or what are we doing?
It doesn't sound like it, right, Andy? Hunt for Ben Solo is not.
Hunt Solo. They're trying to revive it now that Filoni's like taking over as co-president. Even though I don't really see. It sounded at first like an exciting prospect, but I don't think there's a need for it. Like the Rey movie is apparently still going ahead. It's the things they're doing sort of outside of, because I still count the Rey movies as going like Skywalker era. Even though they're like 10, 15 years after episode 9, I still count it as that era. So, but the proper ones that they're supposedly doing outside of the Skywalker era are the ones that have been put on hold. And that's, as you know very well, JD, my worry about Filoni is that we're never going to get outside of this era now. We're going to be stuck with these characters and everything involved in that for so long that they're not going to find a way out of it and move forward beyond what we already know. And then, you know, we've had the sequel trilogy where we had the original heroes that are now old or actually all dead in canon. So you can't cling on to like Rey and Finn and Poe and stuff either, and Chewie. You need something new and exciting to push forward. And if they're not going to do that, then they need to tie up all these stories and then just wipe the board clean. So that's the worry, is that the things outside the Skywalker era have all been put on hold to continue the Skywalker era. So...
You know what I think they absolutely need to make this movie good is new and exciting, like you said, but they need like the best villain Star Wars has seen since, you know, the prequels. You know, you have to have an amazing villain presence. That's really something you didn't like. What's his name? The guy who plays Gus in Breaking Bad, being the villain in season 1.
Giancarlo
Esposito didn't work for me. You know, if this movie, you need a great villain to elevate it. Like any sci-fi movie kind of needs a good villain, right? But we're already used to the characters. We're already used to the journey. We're already used to they're going to want the kid. We already know Thrawn's coming, but give us a scary threat for them to have to deal with in this movie.
And I just don't see that happening in this.
I know.
Because we're getting a bunch of cameos in the fact that we're getting, obviously, Zeb from Rebels is coming back in. We're getting Rotter the Hutt as a grown-up in like his gladiatorial arena type stuff. What role he's going to play is like, you know, aid to the Mandalorian or enemy to the Mandalorian. We don't know. We're probably going to get Bo-Katan in there. If we don't get a Thrawn cameo, at least, like we only need one scene for Thrawn, really. But if we don't get a Thrawn scene in there, I'll be disappointed. So, who really is the big bad of this film?
Right.
I'm expecting Hera and Chopper to be in there as cameos as well. So it's going to be a regular dose of what we're used to. But what is the big bad of this film? What is the purpose of it?
Here's what forward? I got. Remember in the books, Thrawn made a clone of Luke Skywalker, and he was kind of his right hand, you know, kind of assassin, his soldier. It doesn't have to be Luke, but how cool would it be if it was some rogue Jedi, just a mysterious rogue Jedi that's causing problems, getting things done for Thrawn, and they have to stop a Jedi? Like, that's scary, mysterious, powerful. That'd be cool.
That'd be nice. Something new. It's something fresh.
Yeah.
Well, I was just thinking, we get the Maul series that obviously 8 episodes that drop between April and May. So that finishes like 3 weeks before Mandalorian. So we've seen in the Maul trailers that there's a couple of lost Jedi. It's already been spoken that Maul potentially takes one of them as his apprentice, which it looks like it's going to be the younger one that we saw in the trailers. What if then she is come back and been like by Thrawn's side, sort of in it, and that's why the Maul series is coming out, because this is the only 2 pieces of Star Wars we're getting this year, and they're coming out really close together. So maybe if one story kind of feeds into the other, because they've been doing this as well, haven't they? They've been setting up stuff for Mandoverse and the sequels by going through things like Bad Batch and setting up the stories a bit more. So why not have like Maul gets his apprentice but loses it in the same series, but she comes back to be Thrawn's aide in the film,
that would be so sick.
Or later on in his film. So they do have a tendency to put these things out close together because they're setting things up through each other.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love it if they did that. It'd be cool to develop the villain that way so we have their backstory. All right, what else we got for Disclosure Day? Kevin, are you interested in this at all?
Is this the one where, is this Sandra Bullock? Is she like a newscaster that's reporting on the
not Sandra, it's
Emily Blunt.
Emily
Yeah.
Blunt. Why is they saying the bullet? She's she's trying to she's going to give away the secret of aliens being among us, possibly. That did look interesting. I'm not even a big alien film guy, but the last couple of alien films that have come out have really actually blew me away. Like No One Will Save You, stuff like that. If they can make it in like a kind of realm of No One Can Save You, where it's a lot of people, but somehow it's still kind of isolated, I can dig it. I'm here for it. I'm definitely gonna go see it.
And do you guys realize that that documentary came out like a month ago that was called Age of Disclosure? That was literally a documentary revealing that aliens are real and that they've been kept secret. Like literally what this movie is about. It's like that documentary has already been released in the real world. So does this seem like a red herring to pull attention off of the real Disclosure movie? Because now there's this fictional Disclosure movie. It seems weird with the timing of it and the content itself.
I didn't see Disclosure, the thing. I've always thought there's something out there, so I just haven't even been that interested. Like, if anything that's more advanced enough to come here and be undetected for the most part, I don't want any parts of anyway. I have no say in the matter. You're just going to do what you're going to do anyway. So I've never cared about that. But if there was something, I'll get to take a look at it. It does seem strange for it to come out so soon after that documentary comes out.
That is so weird. Andy, how you guys over there in the island feel about aliens?
I don't think we get as many abduction cases as you guys do. But yeah,
to be fair, you guys don't have near as many crazy isolated areas like you find in like a Montana and those places where aliens might be more drawn to. We're fanatics over here, dude.
Yeah, we don't have the batshit crazy people like you guys do.
Touche.
But yeah, I mean, it's still a big thing over here. Everyone still claims that they see something every now and again, or UFOs or whatever. So, I mean, as for the film itself, obviously it's come out of nowhere, and the fact that like it was only announced a few months ago that Steven Spielberg was going to be dropping a new Alien film. We got that first trailer, which did nothing for me because it doesn't tell you what the film was about. And then this trailer obviously goes into the actual story a bit more. So like, I do wonder how much alien action there's going to be, so to speak, or whether it's going to be a bit more like was it the Mel Gibson one where they're like allergic to water or something and they invade the planet? Signs, that's what I'm thinking of. Where there's like it's just all like implication of aliens being around us without actually physically seeing them too much. I feel like that's what this film is going to be more like. It's more like about the conspiracy and the action that goes with the, trying to release a conspiracy but stopping it. So I think it's more like government political spy thriller than it is alien. That's how it comes across anyway. But then you get this shot. It's almost like Independence Day shot where the UFOs coming through the clouds in a bit of a fireball, which kind of looks cool. So I pegged this one because obviously Lub picked this in the box office draft. And I picked this to be his big flop out of his picks because it's one of those ones that just because Steven Spielberg's doing it doesn't mean everyone's going to flock to see it. And I don't think the hype's with it just yet, but the second trailer has intrigued me a bit more.
I just realized he did Saving Private Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that gives me. I was going to say I don't really love Spielberg. I know he has a lot of the classics, like a ton of them. Jurassic Park would probably be my favorite. Schindler's List is really good.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, then I was also thinking of Arrival. Remember that one with Jeremy Renner and Amy Adams? I think it'll feel like that. It's not a lot of alien action, but a lot maybe communication and stuff like that, which I'm cool with. I don't need alien action in this one. I kind of like the conspiracy. Like, what do we do if aliens come? Studying that.
Absolutely nothing. We just sit here and take it.
Yeah, we pretty much are. What do you need us to do?
What am I supposed to do when they show up?
No.
I can offer you
my house.
But yeah, I'm see it.
Yeah.
I'm keeping my house, sir.
I'm just like, I can offer you a sarcastic comment and then that's it. I'm going back to my day.
Mm-hmm.
Next, more sci-fi. Personally, a lot more excited for this one. Project Hail Mary. Read the book a year or two ago. It's an amazing book. I like the story more than The Martian. I never read The Martian, but just knowing what the story is, this is a much more fast pace. And I say that because it's Andy Weir writing, who wrote The Martian. He wrote Project Hail Mary. Really exciting story. So I think this will translate so well to the big screen. And Andy, are you going to read this book?
No, I think I said on a previous episode I was going to wait till after the film because I now don't want to have certain things spoiled, even if they deviate from the book itself. I don't want to read the book and then going into the film knowing 90% of what happens. Because my wife was super hyped to watch this. She told me about it and watched the first trailer. I saw the first trailer in the cinema a few months back, and I was like, "Yeah, this actually looks quite cool. I'm down for this." And then obviously the second one focuses more on that alien element with the Rocky. So looks intriguing. And I'm actually quite excited for this. I think this could be the surprise hit of the year. Because Ryan Gosling as well. I didn't like younger Ryan Gosling, like early Ryan Gosling stuff. I don't know why, but the last 2, 3, 4 years, he seems to have come to the front, and I'd like this version of Ryan Gosling. So I'm quite excited for this.
That's how I feel about Matt McConaughey. Didn't love early McConaughey. Just he's one of my absolute favorites now. And sci-fi movie is what did that for me for him. Interstellar and True Detective. Kevin, do you know anything about Project Hail Mary? You looking forward to this? Did the trailer do anything for you?
It did. I mean, I'm intrigued. I can't wait to see it. I've always liked Ryan Gosling. I didn't think his movies were that great when he was a little bit younger, but I always thought he was pretty good. The movie looks good. I never read the book. I didn't know there was a book to it. So I'm going to have to actually pick that up. I'll do what Andy did and probably read the book after the movie, so I'm not spoiling anything for myself. But it looks great. Like I don't know. Is it can you give a Oh, you can't give a small spoiler because me and Andy are in here.
Well, the only spoiler I wouldn't have given that the trailer already gave away that he comes across an alien. And I remember I did not expect that in the book. And when it did happen, it amplified the book so much for me. So when I saw the alien shown in the trailer, I was like, man, maybe you shouldn't have showed the alien. There's plenty of exciting stuff to make this trailer good. But anyway, I also I mentioned that online and a lot of the comments responded. And he was like, yeah, the alien was introduced within like the first 100 pages or so, which I thought it was more like the middle of the book, but I don't know. But either way, I think that would have hit really hard on the big screen if you didn't know an alien was coming, because he's out there trying to figure out. The first chapter starts with him in a ship, not knowing why he's in space. And he does all this deducing, cool Batman Knives Out detective stuff, figuring out physics in his lab to figure out where he is, how fast he's going, all this stuff until he starts piecing back his memories of the past and why he's out there. So it starts off and just pulls you right into this really cool narrative. So then you really don't expect an alien. So the story's already good enough. And all of a sudden an alien comes around and you're like, holy crap. So anyway, so it's not a spoiler though, because the trailer's already said it, showed you. I will say the way that alien's physiology and anatomy is so unique and so creative. I can't wait to see it on the big screen.
I think what's cool about that is my wife as well said that that's very similar to how she imagined the alien when she read the book. So the fact that they, I think, have maybe done a good job of translating that to on screen from the book is probably a good sign for this project.
I'm going to give you a hint on how weird his physiology is. I learned a word. That word is meant to describe when a species consumes food and shits out of the same hole. And there's a word for that. I don't remember the word, but I learned that a word exists, and that's what that means. And that's gross.
Wow.
Yeah, there's an organism on Earth that does that. So yeah.
Really looking forward to that. And Ryan Gosling, he's going to be a sci-fi star this year, and then he's going to be in Star Wars next year. Yeah. I think this is going to do great for Star Wars. If people see him kill it in this sci-fi movie, they're going to want to see him riding a starfighter, you know?
Oh, that's right. He's playing in the Star Wars Starfighter movie. Okay.
Yeah.
I was about to ask what he was in.
Yeah.
I am not looking forward to that movie.
I am. I think.
Really? Why not? No, tell us why.
Oh man, I do not care about if it's strictly about space battles. Like they made a movie about the Millennium Falcon and other spaceships. No, I'd be bored. I'd want to fall asleep. If it's just about space battles only, was he like a captain or something?
We don't really know. I think it's going to be based on Lost Stars loosely, which is an incredible book, but we don't know what it's going to be about really.
Oh, I'm going to fall asleep. If it's just about, if it's just about a pilot sleeping.
Are you a fan of Rogue One and Top Gun?
Yes.
Then they've got the same cinematographers and stunt producers from those films. So if you like the style of the way that
Top Gun Maverick too.
Yeah, Top Gun Maverick. So if you like the style of the choreography of like the the plane fights and how they did Rogue One as well, then you should probably like this because it's going to be a similar thing.
Okay, yeah. If it's like Rogue One, that's cool because Rogue One is probably my number 2 out of all Star Wars movies. So if it's like that, fine.
And even Tom Cruise showed up on set to help with the cinematography.
So,
it's true.
Okay, and I just brought me up a little bit.
This seems like a story they actually have a solid story for. Like, take Skeleton Crew. It might not have been our cup of tea, but at least I think I respected that they committed to a cool, weird, different story. Now take that commitment to story and then put it with the Top Gun Maverick choreographers and a starfighter story in space. That sounds pretty cool. I think it'll be dope. It'll be dope. So we're gonna have to, dude. You got to come review that movie then with us next year.
Yeah, because I wasn't even thinking about seeing that in theaters at all. I mean, at all. And I see every Star Wars thing that comes out and Star Trek, and I was like, nah, I'm going to sleep.
Okay, one other tidbit we got from the Super Bowl is look into Supergirl, a new little footage. They released a slightly longer version on YouTube before the Super Bowl, and then you saw some during the Super Bowl. Andy, or did any images, anything stand out in this trailer? Anything extra, or just more of the same?
I mean, like the second half of it, or the second 2/3 of the trailer, was pretty similar to the first one we got. It was just a lot of the same scenes. There wasn't too much different from it. It was just the first bit. I think Dave said in our group chat that it was like when they were walking around when she's like obviously on Krypton when she's younger, and they're all in their robes and stuff. He was like, it looks like Dune. To be fair, like walking around like that. And I was like, yeah, that's a fair shout. So that's obviously flashback stuff and not the main theme of the story, but they switched that up pretty quickly to just go back to what they were doing. So I don't think this did any more for me than the first trailer, to be honest.
How about you, Kevin?
You know what? Hot take, man. I'm not a crypto fan.
Okay, that's fair.
I never have been. I've always said I can do without the dog. Didn't care for Batman's animals either, really. I never really thought they added to, for me, they never really added to the story for me. Don't care about super pets, really.
I don't prefer pets either. I don't like, especially in the Batman comics, if that's what you were talking about when they got that dog.
Like the bat cow and the bat, whatever the red thing is.
And I love dogs. Big dog lover. But they don't work in these. The thing is, Crypto does work for me. He's cool. He's got this super dog. He's actually got the powers of the Kryptonian, like a Superman's. Crypto, I'm okay with, but I totally get where you're coming from.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the movie.
Yeah, that's where I'm at.
So, like, it looks like almost like a panel for panel of the actual comic book. And I was very surprised that they're actually doing that book and not an older book from the 80s or 90s. I was surprised about that. But I said, okay, James Gunn is really ramping this thing up. He wants to give some recent stories. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I still can't wait to see it. But the trailer, again, didn't do much for me. The first trailer didn't do much for me, except for I do like Millie Alcock in the role. You know, I like the scene. We've seen they show the same scene in every trailer. This is going to go poorly for you guys. I like that attitude. You know, she's going to do good in the role. And I'm excited for a look into the galactic side of the DCU. Like that's why I'm so pumped up about this. What else are we going to see out in space?
I mean, it's fine. Just watch Guardians of the Galaxy. It'll be the same thing. It's fine.
Right.
But I need this film to do well because it was in my box office draft. So everyone go watch it. Lots, please.
Kevin, do you track box office at all? How do you think there's a chance this gets close to the Superman box office?
How much does Superman end up earning altogether?
I think it was about 700 odd.
Do I think he'll get to 700? I'm gonna be honest. I think
I'm praying 600 at best. At absolute best, I think 600. I'm thinking 4 or 5,
maybe.
4 or 5 sounds right. Yeah,
I think it's gonna be great. I actually am probably gonna like it more than Superman film itself.
That's how I think too.
Because I don't think it's gonna have as many slow parts in there. And it's kind of get up and go. I think the flashbacks are going to be very short too, so I'm probably going to enjoy this a lot more than Superman film. So I'm going to see it once or twice, but I do not think the general audience is going to see this once or twice. Not like they want to go see Superman.
Right.
I think I'm more excited to see the broken down Supergirl before she becomes and turns into, which is going to be the hero by the end of the film. Because I'm not one for clean cut action heroes. I don't particularly like the clean cut good guys. I like the anti-heroes and the ones that are like morally clouded, and that's what she seems like she's going to be for maybe the first like 2/3 of this film before she breaks through and becomes the Supergirl that she's going to be. So I'm more excited to see that than maybe the end of the film.
And even if she breaks through, becomes the Supergirl she needs to be, I hope she still carries the chip on her shoulder for like that's just her character from now on. You know what I mean? She should always be kind of a darker, more maybe impulsive Superman. Just saying, I hope she doesn't just go from like James Gunn explained her as, yeah, this is Superman as if he watched his world die, as he was there to see the destruction of Krypton. Like, what is Superman? What is his character after that? So I hope that sticks with her character. She comes into her own as a hero, sure, but I do want to see an edgy Supergirl in the DC. I think that's fun.
Yeah, I think that's a lot more fun than the same character as Superman. I don't want to see that either. I'd love her to be a little bit edgier. And I hope what I'm hoping is also I hope that Lobo is working for somebody and they introduce somebody else like in the post-credit scenes or something.
Love it. Yes. Agreed. I didn't think of that. That'd be cool. Because he's a bounty hunter. Someone's paying him.
Yeah. I want this to be somebody random like Mongol or Despero or something like that.
Yes. Now we're talking. That'd be so sick if it was Mongol. Darkseid would feel repetitive too soon.
Yeah.
But Mongol would be threatening and new and fresh. All right. So there's Supergirl. What else we got? All right. Moving on. Staying with DC, but we're done with the trailers. Fun little topic here. We've discussed this before, but let's bring it back up. Batman Part 2 will reportedly feature at least 5 DC villains coming out of the direct. They wrote an article mentioning, like, yeah, of course, there's already Penguin, Joker's in the universe, Riddler's in the universe. So there's 3. So, Kevin, give me 2 more villains to fill the spot you'd be happiest with.
That I would be happiest with. I wanted a Clayface in this movie, actually. With the first rumors before it got to be like a Clayface solo film, I thought it would be great to put him in this movie. I wanted to see a little bit more than just a man that's crazy as his adversary. Clayface or Mr. Freeze is my number one. Well, I'd love to see him in here. I'd love to see him shooting Batman up with Freeze gun. I want to see Bruce injured, have him be taken home in the back car. I wanted to see maybe even one person like maybe a Dick Grayson as a kid introduced as well. I wanted to see Mr. Freeze my number one though. If I had to take Clayface out, they wanted to ground the film more, then Jervis Tech would be my second person.
Yeah.
The Mad Hatter, I think, would be really cool. Just not as a primary villain, but like as a secondary villain, man, I'd love to see him walking around and commanding like an army of people with cards in their heads.
And if you do like a weird horror thing with like a scary little goblin running around like those Leprechaun movies in the background with his psychedelic like stuff that he trips people out with, that would be crazy. Andy, do you think, and then let's get your 2 villains, Andy, but do you think that James Gunn and DC would ever do this thing where it's like, since we're skipping over the origins of Robins in the DCU, that's what it looks like anyway, do you think that they would introduce a Damian here just to get the general audience comfortable with the origin of Dick Grayson or a different Robin so they can kind of bounce to the DCU and kind of have it already explained for them?
I'm thinking probably not, to be honest. I think they're saving it because this is an Elseworld story. They're keeping it to the side. They're trying to keep it separate. So I don't feel like they're going to do an origin story of a character in the Elseworld story just so they don't have to do it in the main DCU. Because otherwise, because they always say you don't need to necessarily explain stuff to the audience, but at the same time, a mass majority audience is treated as dumb, so you have to explain things to them. And so I don't think that they just put an origin story of Damon in here just so they don't have to do it in the DCU. That, to me, that would be a bad way to go about it. So no, I don't really see that happening. In terms of the characters, I mean, we already know on the 3 that you mentioned that definitely going to be reappearing. We already know we're getting Two-Face in there as well. Sebastian Stan playing him. I don't think we know the role that Scarlett Johansson's playing yet. But in terms of Probably a cliche one. I want to see Poison Ivy in there. I'm not saying Scarlett Johansson should be playing that character or that's who she's playing, but I would like to see Poison Ivy in there. I think she offers a good balance compared to the male heavy characters that villains we've had so far. But I'm with Kevin in the fact Mr. Freeze. I want to see a new Mr. Freeze in here. I know that we go with the cheesy, iconic Arnie from the 90s. Is our only on-screen Mr. Freeze, really. But yeah, a new lethal Mr. Freeze, I think, would be a really good addition.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. If his main antagonist was like full-on gang war, Two-Face would be cool. That would be different enough. We've seen a lot of the Falcone, Maroni gang war stuff. But to have that be the main villain would be kind of cool in a Two-Face. But Mr. Freeze offers the most unique villain, and where the audience will side with him. That will not side with him fully, but they will totally understand where he's coming from, trying to save his wife, going to kill anybody that gets in his way, and killing makes Batman mad, so he's coming. You know, that's something that we could get on board with, like his motives, and adding, like, trying to make it fit like into a more realistic Reeves universe, I think is totally doable. Whereas Clayface for Kevin and Poison Ivy for Andy, I feel like those are too fantastical for the Reeves universe, unless you just toned them down a ton.
I think the problem is I'm not hyped for this movie.
I'm not either.
It's taken too long. The extra people they're adding to the cast, it seems like a vanity project for Reeves now, and the fact that he's like, yes, I'll take. Obviously, he's had stuff going on in personal life, which has delayed it as well. But it's like, you know, it's a vanity project because they're just adding big superstars to it now. More and more people are getting into it. It's becoming like, you know, almost like a Justice League or Avengers type level film with the amount of characters they want to put in it and the amount of stars that are going to be in it. And it's not fitting into the DCU. You're kind of taken away from the main DCU now by allowing this to go on and have so many stars in it, because you can't then bring those people over to the main DCU because, again, the cross confusion with audiences and stuff. So you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot if you want to employ any of those people in the future for the DCU. Unless, obviously, you know, if they take a leaf out of Marvel's variants bit where you can have the same person play different characters from different universes. So they could technically cross over, I guess, but again, there's the confusion of, are they a new character? Are they the one that they played in the previous one? But yeah, the problem is this film is just building up too much and taking too long, and I just don't care about it anymore. It's been too long since the first Batman to really be buying into this as a worthwhile project when it's an Elseworlds project. It's not even the main DCU stuff.
Tell me about it. That's how I feel about the Joker movies and the first Batman. Like, I liked the first Batman a lot. I thought it was a great movie. But I'm like, do I need a second one if it's not going to tie into the universe that I really have all this high hopes for? Like, what are you going to give me in this Elseworld movie that I actually care about, since you have to have your movie series like in a box? And this other huge universe over here is going to have its own Batman that I'm going to have to worry about. Anyway, what's drawing me to care about the Batman Part 2? Nothing really. Not a single thing. What do they have? The Joker. Cool.
Another Joker.
We've been seeing it for 40 years.
You really could have done without the damn Joker in this one, dude.
Yeah.
Yet another Joker iteration.
Yeah.
But even in this universe, you've got, like, you had the Penguin TV series, and as much as it was heralded as being really good, what impact has it now had moving forward?
Nothing.
Zero.
Well, that's yet to be seen. We'll see. But even though actually they said Penguin's going to have a very minor role again, so therefore you're probably right. But man, I really wish. I mean, even Penguin could have been the big bad. He just established his presence as a major Gotham underworld guy. He could have been the main villain. And we haven't even talked about Court of Owls yet. Andy, I think you made a great point how there's just so many characters are coming in here where it's like, yeah, it makes it less likely they're going to be introduced and their stories are going to go through in the DCU anytime soon. And Kevin, you made a great point. Like, I'm not even invested in this universe. I'm excited for a Batman movie, but that's it. Whereas the DCU is where we're kind of invested in the future, and this has nothing to do with that.
I don't know why. I mean, I don't know the intricacies of the movie industry, but I've always thought maybe we can just throw some money around and just merge universes together. Just be lazy and just say, hey, guess what? We got you. Just do that. Because then I'll start to care. Because the Penguin was such a good show. But like Andy said, do I care that it's a good show? Do I need to rewatch it? No, because this Batman universe is going to be like 3 movies for the whole universe. What, maybe 4, 3 and a possible is what we're going to get. Yay! And now what? What are you what are you going to do after that?
Yeah. Those are all valid concerns. Anyway, I'm still looking forward to it. I think it'll still be a good movie, but yeah, just no investment really. Today, I mean, this is going to be quick, not a lot to break down here, but for me, it was exciting. I threw this on here. James Gunn just posted a picture of Swamp Thing. Simple as that. So something is coming soon, and Swamp Thing is my favorite comics character. Cannot wait for this. James Mangold is supposed to be directing this movie. Kevin, how do you feel about Swamp Thing? What do you think is coming soon? Casting announcement, anything like that?
I didn't know Swamp Thing was your favorite comic book character.
Man, he's my guy.
No, that's interesting. I've never heard. Okay, I like that. I like the Swamp Thing show a lot. I don't know. Warner Brothers tank that show too.
I'd have to watch it again. I couldn't tell you much about that show.
I thought the show was great. I used to watch Swamp Thing in the past when it was a cartoon for a little bit. I love Swamp Thing too. I just don't know whether James Gunn would make this a live action series, cartoon, or a movie. I think he's just going to be a cartoon.
It's supposed to be a movie. It's James Mangold.
Really?
Baby. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Then that leads me to think, who else is he going to put in the movie? Because I'll be damned if Swamp Thing is going to just carry his own movie. I don't see it.
He could. I'll give my boy a break. He could.
I mean, I could play Dick Grayson.
Oh, here you go.
I don't think it's a good idea.
Do what you did in the comics. Bring Constantine in. He'll practically be your co-main character, walking Swamp Thing around, teaching him his stuff. If you introduced him in a Swamp Thing comic for the first time in comics, why not introduce him in the Swamp Thing movie and have a kind of a co-lead character? Because Swamp Thing's all confused for the first half of his existence. Like, what the hell am I? What do I do? And Constantine could be like, yo, this way. Here's your powers. Let's go here and stop this.
No, I can see that. If you add in somebody that has some charisma, that'd be cool. Because Swamp Thing, to my knowledge, and I've read very little Swamp Thing books, just to admit, but he didn't have much of a personality.
It's true.
So I would like to, if he had a guy with him while the main focus is on him, but I have a guy like a buddy cop thing kind of in his ear. Oh yeah, I think I can see it happen. It makes me want to read more Swamp Thing. I mean, I should read up more of him anyway.
Alan Moore, baby, great comics. Andy, how you feeling? Who would be a good Swamp Thing?
I don't care, to be honest. It's like I have no connection to Swamp Thing at all. I haven't really read much of him. I haven't seen much of him. So as a future DCU project right now, it's like one that doesn't really register that much for me. Sorry, JD.
It's okay. I think you'll like it when it comes out if they do a good Swamp Thing.
He's a tree. It's just a tree.
No, it is not a tree. He's connected to all plant life on the planet and some kind of inner consciousness of it's beautiful, so philosophical.
I mean, I did read a bit more on him after, I think it was one of our episodes when you were talking about him before, and so I did read up a little bit on him. But in terms of your point about Constantine being like a co-anchor for it, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see Constantine introduced into someone I know, into someone else's film that I know nothing about. Like, as a co-carrier of the film when it's called The Swamp Thing, especially after, like, whilst the Keanu Reeves Constantine is not Constantine as we know Constantine, but it was an Americanized version to make some money, and it did well, and it's become a cult classic. At the same point, like, I don't know if any of you watched the Constantine TV series that did, and the character that then he only got one season before they stopped it, and then the character itself with the same actor went into like the Arrowverse, so he was in Arrow, and then he became a regular a few seasons into Legends of Tomorrow, which they kind of messed up his character a bit. They kind of do that in Legends of Tomorrow, to be fair, but so Constantine's someone I want to see done properly on the big screen. I don't want to see him ushered into like a Swamp Thing film just to help carry Swamp Thing because he's not good enough of a lead on his own. So if you release a Swamp Thing film, to me it would be one of the lowest like box office films in terms of return right now, because he's not big enough to carry. I'm a pretty big comic guy. I'm more other comics than maybe DC, but I just don't think he can carry a film by himself from the little I know, and you do need someone else in there, but I don't want that to be Constantine. He deserves his own platform, probably in a TV show rather than a film, though, for Constantine. I would prefer, because you want that backstory and that sort of time to tell his story rather than just throwing him into someone else's film just to help carry.
What about an introduction in Swamp Thing, but he's not a co-main character?
I don't mind introductions, especially, like I said, if you give him a TV series where you introduce him in this film and then he gets his own TV series, a year or so later, I could be down for that. I could sign off on that.
Yeah,
because I'm the one signing the check, so James Gunn's obviously doing my bidding here.
Yeah, talk to me if you ever read the Alan Moore Swamp Thing comic. I thought Constantine being introduced in there was so dope, and it just, you needed it, because you guys are right. He does not have a personality, so I didn't think of that as like leading a movie being a problem, but I think you guys nailed it with that.
He's a tree.
Because otherwise you end up as like a Venom type situation where you have to give him the personality to carry through, and you then potentially ruin the character by making him something that he's not.
And the issue is, I don't think you can translate Alan Moore's Swamp Thing comics to the big screen. It's so introspective. Half of it is him tripping out in his mind, considering things. Like, I don't see that done on the big screen. So maybe just more hurdles to cross than I kind of expected. But regardless, can't wait. And James Mangold, hell of a director to launch this thing off. It's supposed to be horror.
To have on it, yeah.
Probably rated R. Yeah, looking forward to it. I hope it does better, because Andy, I think you nailed it too. The box office potential there, it's not going to be all that high.
That's 100,000 right there.
100K. All right, moving on.
And that's just JD watching it.
It's just me 100 times. Ian McKellen. Moving on to Doomsday stuff, Avengers. In an interview, he kind of let it slip that his character in Magneto destroys New Jersey. Did you guys catch that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I've been saying for a while, you don't put Magneto in an Avengers movie without Magneto going off. Like, even if Ian McKellen could barely move his limbs, that's all he has to do. And so him dropping that really got a fire under my butt. How do you feel about Magneto and Avengers Doomsday, Kevin? And do you think he's going to... Did you read Planet X ever? Grant Morrison, New X-Men, when Magneto just crushed New York?
No, did not read that one.
Very iconic moment. That's what I think that he's going to do to New Jersey. Just kind of visually, kind of Easter eggy. It's going to be a lot like Planet X.
Hey, I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't like Jersey, really. I bypass Jersey whenever I go to New York when I was back home. I'm okay with that. I'd love to see Jersey crushed in a movie. It'll be great. And just to show his level of power, because I know Michael Fassbender's version, which I would have hoped that he was in there too.
Me too. Just so badly.
Something. But Ian McKellen, the last movie we were in where we saw him move the what bridge was that? Was that the Golden State Bridge that he moved?
Golden Gate Bridge, yeah.
Golden Gate Bridge. I say Golden State. Golden Gate Bridge that he moved with ease, no strain in him at all. Oh man, I'd love to see him just jump in the air and float and then look at everybody with a smirk and just crush it to pieces, and everyone in the background yelling no. I mean, Ian McKellen is him and Rebecca Romaine Stamos are my favorite actors in those first 3 X-Men movies. So I anything just showing his face menacingly somewhere is enough for me.
Andy, what do you think of Magneto in Avengers Doomsday?
I mean, first of all, I think he's going to die in this film. I don't think he makes it out of this. I think most of the X-Men are going to die in this film. It's an interesting one. I mean, Dave just chirping in. Charles always wanted to build bridges. The only good part of X3.
There was one other good part, and that was Magneto turning cars into pancakes.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
In terms of like what he said here, like, was it an accidental slip? Because I feel like we're going to get quite a few of these accidental slips between now and Doomsday where
he's old. I buy it.
But he's also not an idiot. Like, so I feel like maybe a few of the actors are going to be told to let some accidental slips out between now and Doomsday just to stir the pot a little bit. I mean, we know Magneto has that potential anyway. Like you said, he's done it in the comics. Michael Fassbender's version, which is technically now Ian McKellen's version because they have the same technical timeline, where we saw in Apocalypse what he can technically do with his powers in terms of digging up metal from the planet and the way he can controls it and magnetic spheres and stuff like that. So it's no surprise that he can crush an entire city. So, but it's if we get to see that on screen, that's going to be cool. I don't really care which city it is that he does it to. To be fair, it doesn't really matter if it's Jersey or or Ohio or Idaho or wherever. So let's just see it.
Yeah, I'm excited to see the displays of power. Magneto in a Russo brother Avenger movie, man. He's going to do something.
They're definitely going to die, though. It's nice that we're getting anything about this movie because there's been no build up whatsoever for it. So it's nice to get little comments every now and then.
Yeah. Although, wouldn't it be cool if obviously most of the X-Men that we know, the OG X-Men, are going to die in this film? Yeah. So then, what if we get the younger versions of like Michael Fassbender and James McAvoy's version in Secret Wars instead when they create Battle World? Sorry.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. It almost feels like their marketing strategy is to leak like things accidentally, like all those teaser trailers. They freaking put those out and leaked them before the movie theater, like their weekly Avatar teasers.
Well, just remember, they weren't teaser trailers; they were clues and setup that no one knows about.
And of course,
nobody.
They're trying new and different things. I got this 360-day clock counting down to Doomsday, so they're doing a lot of good free marketing, just being a little sneaky about it. Next, more on Avengers Doomsday. Halle Berry says she will not be returning as Storm in Avengers Doomsday. Andy, you buy it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it is what it is, right? Not all the X-Men are going to be in there. Would you want to see Storm in there?
I think a lot of people probably would. I'm not that fussed. I thought she was a bit of a wuss in the OG films. She wasn't the Storm at the level that she needed to be. So sorry, it's just Dave's going back to saying about Magneto. No chance he survives. We'll get a recast. Of course we will. There's going to be plenty of recasts post Secret Wars. So, but yeah, I wasn't that bothered about Halle Berry version. Like, do you know what happens to a toad when it's electrocuted? Like, okay, let's just move on.
I want Storm just to see her done right on the big screen. But yeah, I'm good with this. Kevin?
I'm not buying it.
Not buying it? Fair.
I'm not buying it at all.
Is it the Andrew Garfield situation?
I really think, and this is maybe the first time I'll say this, I really think, yeah, maybe she won't be Storm. Maybe she'll be Aurora Monroe. And that's it. Maybe they'll just call her Aurora. I don't think there's a chance in hell that they didn't throw money at Halle Berry and say, hey, we just need you for 10 minutes. That's all we need you for is 10 minutes, please. I don't see a universe that doesn't happen. And I don't see a universe where she just says, I mean, forget the money because she doesn't need it, obviously. But I don't see a world where she just absolutely refuses to show up for this movie that she was a part of. She showed for every other movie. Why not? And they made her look worse in the earlier movies, at least in Days in Future Past. She got to, shoot some stuff and fly around. And at least X3, she got to kill a few people. I think just like Cyclops is probably going to get a bigger part. I'd like to see Storm get almost a bigger part as Cyclops and Jean Grey get. I'd love to see that. I don't buy it. I think there's no way in hell that she said you're not going to see Storm. No, not possible. That's crazy.
Yeah, I was going to say the Queen of Wakanda is what I'm really pumped about with Storm. So I'm invested in Storm post Secret Wars, whereas Magneto, I'm worried that the recast will not reach Michael Fassbender level if we're going to get this new Magneto. Whereas Halle Berry and Storm, I don't care. You recast, it's probably going to be a great Storm. Very excited and invested in the future of Storm, but I don't care about Doomsday or Secret Wars. It could very well, she could be in there, she could not be in there. Don't care. Very excited for future Storm to see what that's about.
So, as long as the recast isn't Cynthia Erivo from Wicked. They've been saying that she's the big favorite, and I'm just not a fan of her.
I like her in most things she's been in. I think she does well in. I haven't paid attention to her personality much. Do I think I would choose her looks wise to play Storm? No. But if they cast her as Storm, I think she's going to kill it. I think she's going to absolutely kill that role. Not looks wise. I think there's DeWanda Wise was one of the people. Not DeWanda Wise. No, Amanda Diop was one of the choices people had. The fan choices. The girl that played Starfire and Titans live action.
Mm-hmm.
A couple people they chose, and I'm like, I could go with any of them, but I do think Cynthia Erivo acts her butt off whenever she's in something. So I'll give her that. I think she can probably change into a perfect accent just like that. I see it.
I hope they're casting with Black Panther in mind. So get some actress and an actor for Black Panther. Get someone who's going to vibe with Damson Idris, right?
Yeah, I think he's going to be Black Panther. Yeah,
I hope so. And then again, yeah, really want to see the Queen of Wakanda Storm. That would be so epic. Well, we'll see how that goes. All right, Andy, are you a Fast and the Furious fan? I don't know if we've ever talked about it.
I think I've watched like the first 4, and then I lost interest after that.
Fair enough. What about you, Kevin?
I think all the Fast movies are bad except for like 1, 5, and 6. All the rest of them, I'm just like, wow. But I love them.
That's how I feel.
I love the movies. I enjoy watching like mindless action sequences with some good average to good acting. I'm cool with that. I think they do a good job, like with the car, especially with the cars. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I hope they do.
The car mechanics they use, I think,
with the cars. Sorry.
Anyway, flying into space was a little bit much, but other than that, I'm cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. We're talking about it because the next Fast and Furious movie has a title, and it's titled Fast Forever. So figured we got to talk about it. Andy, I didn't know, I figured maybe you were kind of a fan, and like Kevin and I recognize they're bad movies, but still enjoy them. Except for the record, I can't really rewatch any of them. I don't enjoy them to that level, except for I really like number 1, 2, and 5. I could rewatch those and enjoy it, particularly 1 and 2. 2 gets really fun with Tyrese Gibson. But I hope Fast Forever will go back to the racing roots, because after Fast 5, it just became so ridiculous that, yeah, it was fun to watch, but I don't care to rewatch any of those.
No. I mean, I enjoy the memes that come from these films, even though I haven't watched like 2/3 of them. Family is family, and all the Vin Diesel family memes are great. To be fair, they're a lot of quality, but yeah, I think they've just gone too ridiculous. And mark my words, this will get split into like 2 or 3 parts, because they'll milk this fucker for all it's worth.
I hope not. I can't, because technically, I mean, the last movie they brought back like 2 people that we thought were dead. They were supposed to be dead. Like, who's the Wonder Woman? What's her name? Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot is back too. Came out of the submarine. I was like, okay, this has to be the last one. Please make it the last one, because everybody's alive. No need to kill anybody off either. Just have them save the day and end the franchise.
It just seems like it's become a threshold for like stars to dip in, make cameo appearances, get a good paycheck, and bugger off again. Because like for like Jason Statham, The Rock, Gal Gadot, what was it, not Briolson,
Charlize Theron or
Charlize Theron, but Captain Marvel. You know what I'm talking about, Brie Larson.
Yeah.
Oh, she was in there too. That's right.
Yeah, Alan Richmond. Obviously Alan Richmond, and obviously you've had Vin Diesel.
John
Cena. So it's just like, what is it even about? It's like, it makes money. It's like, it makes you wonder about like the Jurassic World films and the fact that they're absolutely shite, but they're big box office. And somehow Fast and Furious has done the same thing. And I don't know how.
How it doesn't make sense. I think Vin Diesel's a good lead character, though. I do like me some Dom Toretto.
Yeah, I like him. That's the only leading role I've ever liked. You know what? I like the Riddick.
I was about to say Riddick for me was his best.
1 and 2 were Riddick. I like. Number 3, I kind of was like, what's going on here?
3 was just a rehash of 1, wasn't it? It was just a retelling of 1.
Yeah,
really.
what are we doing?
But Pitch Black, one of the best Vin Diesel films, I think, probably the best for me that I've seen him.
Never seen the Riddick things.
What?
Well, I'm not a Vin Diesel.
I'm sorry, we've lost JD. He had to go.
No,
I'm really sorry about that.
I understand completely. Oh no.
Yeah, I will be watching it, but
you got to watch Pitch Black at least. Pitch Black was great.
Oh, the Riddick.
Shame.
I'm sorry for liking.
Sorry,
Vin
bro.
Diesel.
You've lost.
I don't
No,
love Vin
it's
Diesel.
not that you like him. It's
Dom
the fact you've
Toretto.
never seen the Pitch Black films.
That one. Okay, there it is. That's
you've lost
what the shame is
credibility,
for.
mate. Sorry.
I will accept that. Are
For
there
all the
actually
shit
good
you tell me
movies?
you like. For all the shit you tell me you like.
First one's good, and you said the third one's okay.
No, the third one. Well, third one's better than the. You got Pitch Black is the first one. Chronicles of Riddick is the second one, and then Riddick is the third one. There's supposed to be a fourth on the way. Furio, which is like the planet he's from. But I would say in all of the best ones, Pitch Black is at the top, no doubt. Even though Riddick is a rehash, I would probably say it's slightly better than 2. Carl Urban's in 2, in the second one. And Tandy Newton plays his wife in it as well. So, and Dame, what's her name? Played Q in Bond for a while. Dame
Judi
Dench. Yeah,
Judi
she's in the second one as well. So it's got a few big stars in it because it became box office after the first one was just like a little indie film that had a big cult following. So come on, JD, get out there and watch it.
I'm the only person that I know that likes number 2 more than number 3.
I think they're close in terms of how good they actually are, but I think 2, because it became a big movie production, it was a big, like the first one, as I said, was like an indie film that became a big cult following. The second one became like a big production by a big movie company, and so therefore the reception maybe wasn't quite as good as the first one. And then the same with the third one. The third one, I'd say, was a slight rehash of the first one in a way, but that's why I maybe like it a touch better. But I think they're very close in terms of how good they are. But
fair enough. What do we got next? Is this our last topic? Last topic. All right, so a little horror movie stuff going on. Kevin, what did you think of Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Because we got A24 officially acquired the rights.
The last movie, or you mean the franchise as a whole?
The franchise as a whole.
I think the franchise as a whole may be the worst franchise of all horror movies, because first one, I can still watch that again. I think it was well shot. I think it was well acted. Doesn't hold up for me, but back then I could see why it held up. All the rest of the ones after that, until 2003, I thought were really bad. 2003 with Jessica Biel, I liked a lot. 2009 was a backstory to 2003. Did not like it at all. Then we had Texas Chainsaw 3D when Trey Songz died because he was in a car accident going at 5 miles an hour. And it was a mess. It's just mostly been a mess for me. So anyone taking on this franchise, I feel like they have to be trillionaires because they're just taking it on to lose money. They're probably just fans of the series. And they said, hey, I'll just take it on. Why not? I don't care how many millions of dollars I lose. Because the very last one, I didn't like either. I thought I'm cool with silly in horror movies. Horror, that's my favorite genre. I'm really cool with silly stuff because you got to have 1 or 2 silly things happen. There was a girl that saw her friend get murked in the middle of the street. She walked back to her party bus, and the bus driver said, everything okay? Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. No, it's not. No, it's not. I turned the movie off. I finished it eventually, and it didn't get any better after that. It just kept getting worse. And that's how I feel about Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. For the most part, except for those 2, the other like 6 or 7, they start off like they're okay, and it just steep downgrade until I'm deep in hell and my eyes are about to fall out, and whatever drunk or whatever I am is gone. Everything's gone. It's nothing but pain. So no, I am not excited. A TV series will happen first. I didn't even read that part. Holy Christ! This is going to be awful.
This is produced by Glenn Powell as well. Is that Glenn Powell from like The Running Man?
Weird, isn't it?
Is that the same Glenn Powell we're looking at that's going to executive produce this?
It's gotta be. Isn't A24 though, or is it Blumhouse? Which one of the 2 is killing it just every time a new movie comes out from Blumhouse?
I think A24 does well for most of their movies.
Well,
Isn't
there you
that
go. I think
barbecue sauce as well, A24.
Yeah.
Huh?
Isn't that A24 but the name of a barbecue sauce as well? Like,
that's
why I was like, who the fuck bought this?
Steak sauce, not barbecue.
But I will watch it though. I am going to watch it because I like horror stuff. But boy, am I going to tear that series apart.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I like the original and I like the 2003 reboot just fine. I haven't seen them in years, so I can't really stand by that too much. But I like the iconography of Leatherface. He's cool. So I would hope that a really cool movie comes out. I think that'd be fun. Andy, any thoughts on this?
It's boring. Let's move on.
Fair. Got you. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, they do not have a great track record of good movies, but
No.
cool story. It's just like you're right. There's no silliness. I don't need silliness, but like something a little extra, because Texas Chainsaw feels depressing and dehydrated and dry and just despair. Like I think that hopefully they add a little extra flavor to it this time.
Hopefully, and make it make sense.
Yeah,
a little bit.
All right, well, that does it for topics. Anything else to discuss before we send off?
Well, I did have a question for both of you, and I'll put it to Kevin first. But with the lack of big Disney/Marvel films at this year's Super Bowl, are we seeing a change in the wind moving forward to the fact that Disney are looking to change their strategy, which may then affect others moving forward? And the fact that, the biggest, we got Project Hail Mary because we know that they want to put, obviously, that is a success. We got a new Supergirl trailer. But beyond that, what we were looking at, like Scream 7, Minions, Disclosure Day, all films that don't hit maybe the nerd side of things. So this has been known for years that the Super Bowl slots are big. They pay a lot of money for them. They get really hyped up. They've got obviously lots of viewers. So, but just to see a change moving forward for the future of how they're going to be marketing, because no Doomsday trailers, not even a Spider-Man trailer, which everyone was expecting, and obviously a bit of a joke Star Wars trailer in a way. So nothing serious coming from Disney for this. So do you see a change of strategy and maybe moving towards the death of the big Super Bowl trailer because they just don't want to spend that money anymore? And either the price has to drop or they just move on from that and they just don't worry about it anymore. What do you reckon, Kevin?
I think the price definitely needs to drop. And I think Disney made a good move not having any Marvel trailers. I was hoping they wouldn't show Doomsday or Spider-Man, because I'm like, listen, you have no build up for either one of these movies. We've heard little tiny details for each one. I'm not excited as a huge comic book fan. I think it would have been a waste of money to pay a whole bunch of money for these trailers to come out for, again, stuff that you have no build up for. I think the best bet for Disney is do what they've been doing. Spend a little bit of money making these small, tiny trailers and having someone edit them and throw them on YouTube every month or twice a month, however you want to do them. And then have one trailer come out towards next December. They have one trailer come out in September. I think that's a perfect way. Or Comic-Con in July. Same thing. Have that come out. I think that's a better deal, because I know the movie's going to end up making $1 billion anyway. So why spend the money, at the Super Bowl? Throwing all these, it's going to be a big cameo fest, big nostalgia fest. You're going to make that $1 billion. I'd be surprised if we don't make that $1 billion. But
they're for sure making $1 billion. The question is that they make $2 billion.
Yeah, you don't have a reason to put a trailer out there, because look at it. Even though I keep saying there's no build up for it, it's going to get $1 billion because it's a cameo fest. Imagine if there was build up for it. It'll probably make that $2-3 billion mark, but you don't need to. It's not necessary. Keep throwing out these little tiny trailers, and like the mall trailer, throw out a couple of things just on your own website. Call it a day. Why not?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think there's any reason to drop millions of dollars on a Super Bowl trailer, especially for the nerd fandom stuff. I don't think the price is going to drop ever. I just don't think Marvel, Star Wars, and DC really need to spend all that money, because once they drop it on YouTube, they have millions of views already. So they just don't need to. With that, they got word of mouth with all the fans and the comic fans and the people invested in the MCU or Star Wars or whatever it is, where it's like everyone who might have saw it at the Super Bowl, they didn't need to see it there. They're gonna hear about it, or they're gonna see the trailer on YouTube anyway. So you just saved yourself $7-10 million, whatever it is. So specifically for the nerd franchises, I don't think there's any reason to ever drop a Super Bowl trailer.
Right. Ever. I really don't think you need to. Like He-Man would have been the only trailer that I think they should have dropped.
We didn't even talk about that, and that looked fucking awful. So
what?
I thought it looked awful.
You think so? Really?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how old you are, Kevin, but I grew up watching He-Man in the 80s, and
okay. It wasn't great in the 80s. I was forced to. I was born in 90. My mother used to tape all of them on VHS. He-Man, Galaxy Trio, Herculoids, Gummy Bears, stuff like that. So I technically grew up watching it because I just watched the videos and I saw the remade shows and the Kevin Smith versions and during COVID and whatnot. And I fell in love with it during COVID because I started to watch them all again. I said, okay, this is super corny. But I thought the trailer was super corny, like the show, but still cool. It was corny and it was cool. Like Fisto had the big fist. It made sense, but it made him look cool. At Man at Arms, Idris Elba looked cool in the outfit. The guy playing He-Man looks like He-Man. I said, what? I can't ask for anything else. This is going to be some corny 80s fun. I loved it. I thought it looked cool. And the way the Grayskull looked, the only thing I think that's silly about it is, why is the kid on Earth? I think that's some silly stuff. Why? I thought that was like, no, we don't even need that. You could bypass that part.
Because it's the thing, everything nowadays, you've got to make it human-centric.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Haven't you? So
I don't like that at all. We're going to get the first like half an hour on Earth. I'm like, didn't need it. Could just kept him where he was at. His mother's from Earth. You could have had Herbie on Earth and make it to Eternia and then have him as a baby. I don't know why you have to do a Superman thing. Oh, I had to send you to Earth because they were going to get you, but you're going to come back anyway when you're like 18. I thought that was, come on now. But the rest of the trailer, I give that a 10 out of 10. I just reviewed that trailer. Love it.
Fair. If you love it, I'm really glad that you do. I always say if people love it, then good. I'm glad you do. But for me, it just, maybe I'm comparing it to nostalgia of when I used to watch the cartoon and then the incredibly bad films of the 80s we got of He-Man. So, but yeah, to me, I just looked at it and went, meh. It's something I won't watch in the cinema. I would wait to maybe watch it one day in the background and streaming. So I'm just not that excited by it, unfortunately. But yeah, I just think maybe moving forward, there's a change in the wind when it comes to Super Bowl trailers. And Disney are going to be the first ones, obviously, up on that and go, we're not going to do loads of big spots anymore because they're cutting down the quantity of films they're doing. It's not, the last 5 years where it's been 4 or 5 films a year or whatever. They're cutting it down to like 2 or 3, and they want to do the marketing themselves, which is fine. They don't need the Super Bowl trailer to amp it up. So yeah, I think this is going to start a thing off, and I think we are going to see the death of the big Super Bowl trailer over the next 2 to 3 years.
That's coming. No one's going to want to spend money on that. Just put out ads and like, what was the ad that I thought was really silly? The Coinbase ad, where it was like a whole bunch of lyrics on screen. I said, Coinbase paid for that? Y'all paid for that? I had no idea what I was looking at for like a whole minute until the word Coinbase popped up. No, the Dove soap ad. Nobody was even using soap in the ad, man. We don't even need it anymore. We don't need it.
I'm surprised Scream paid the money to have Scream 7 on there, to be fair, because that's not going to make loads in the box office.
No,
when you're spending like 6 to 10 million on a Super Bowl trailer spot, you probably wiped out half your marketing. Like
your whole budget for a Scream.
Scream 7 is going to be. It's going to be something. It's going to be. I don't know where they can go with the story anymore. Who is left to want to torment Sydney? Who is left? You're all 70 now. What do we got going on?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, that wraps it up. We got to get out of here, but let's leave it off with this one more thing on the Mando trick, because I am totally with David.
Yeah, me too. I was like, what's going on?
Mandalorian and Grogu. Because literally before the Mandalorian and Grogu little Budweiser spot in the Super Bowl, I had more confidence. That made me think, what if they are just like not taking this very seriously? What if this whole movie is like this? What the hell? Let's pray to God it's not, because God damn it, I want this movie to be the best Star Wars movie since Rogue One. Like that's a low bar. So even saying that, even if it's the best Star Wars movie since Rogue One, like it might not even be an amazing movie. But God, it has to.
There's only 2 other films you put that bar at then, which is The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
So way to set the bar there, JD.
Oh, Solo.
To be honest, if it's better than Last Jedi,
Solo. Yeah, I mean, it's not hard to be better than Solo.
If it's barely better than Last Jedi, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Because rewatching that, I don't dislike it as much. I hate certain scenes more than ever every time I watch it. I hate those scenes more and more, but the rest of it, I like it more and more. Anyway, all right. Go follow Kevin at Kurono Comics. Go follow us at whysosidious pod. We have a website in our descriptions that have our merchandise attached to that, all kinds of stuff. Check out Panel Bound Comics. Use code whysosidious at checkout. Do all kinds of beautiful stuff to support the show. Kevin, thank you for coming, sir. Andy, thank you as well.
No, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
All right.